Hello and welcome back. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Can you hear me?
Good morning, Miss
Yeah.
Sophie.
Okay, if you can hear me clearly, kindly please type yes in the chat box. Okay, good. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, wow. Okay, so we come to the section 3, the phase 2 assess. So in our previous lesson, we take a look at the first phase of the talent stewardship model, acquire, including identify and place. So for the first element, the identify, there are two specific objectives. Firstly, understand the current status of talent pipeline, or specifically understand the business need of workforce, the demand side, and availability of internal and external sources, the supply side. So this objective will be achieved through HR planning. Secondly, determine company's strategic talent requirements, or in other words, job nature and job specification. This objective will be achieved through job analysis. For the second element, place, the main objective is to ensure a sufficient talent pipeline for a short and long-term business need, using a mix of activities to place right people in the right jobs at the right time. So this objective will be achieved through talent acquisition. So in this session, we come to the second phase of this model, assess and detailed operation scheme with this phase related function, performance management. So by the end of this session, you will be able to firstly understand the strategic role as well as distinguish between performance management and performance appraisal. Secondly, you will be able to learn the appraisal process from the goal setting to giving the feedback. Thirdly, you will be able to handle common challenges and explore the solution for the performance management problems. And finally, we will examine best practices and emerging trends in performance management. So we come to the first section, basic concept in performance management. So before we dive into today's topic on performance management, I'd like to ask, why do you think organizations need to manage performance? Actually, I think that some of you haven't had the work experience yet. So let me guide you through this in a way that makes sense for you. Think about your global mini MBA programs. So why do you think each course will have an end of course assessment instead of waiting until you finish all courses to evaluate your learning? So what is your opinion, Miss Kim?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
And for my things. Hello.
Yes, yes, yes. Please go ahead.
Yes, Chef. Why do you think each courses? For my opinion, for mini MBA, and of course, assessment have like for me ensure that like each key concepts before moving to the next steps for my occupation to improve my professional life. and also it allow for me like helping me identify strengths and some areas for improvement. Yes.
Yeah, improvement. Yeah, the keywords here is improvement. Based on
Yeah.
the result of evaluation, you will be able to understand that which areas you need to improve. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you so much, Miss Kim. Yeah. And how about you, Mr. Danny? What do you think?
Yes.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah. Hello.
Okay, I also think the reason why at the end of every course the service assessment is to ensure that whatever we are learning is we the students are learning is aligning with what the lecturer is teaching. That our goals should align with what the lecturer taught. We should always be in line with what the lecturer taught, because at the end, if we are supposed to wait till we finish all the maybe 1 year course, we might forget what we learned at the first course or second course. So at the end of every course, we need to be assessed so that we can be able to, the lecturer will be able to know that whatever he or she taught, we understood it, and we will be able to use it in our future workplace or future references. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Danny. Okay, so maybe if we wait until the end of the course to have all of the evaluation, it's too late, and maybe at that time we cannot remember all other things that we have learned before. Yes, it's another aspect that we need to consider when we place the time for the evaluation. So thank you so much for Ms. Kim and Mr. Danny opinion. Actually, the regular assessment will contribute to track the progress, identify gaps, and ensure that students are on the right track before moving to the next course. So in a corporate setting, managing performance works the same way. So the enterprises need to continuously monitor and evaluate employees' work to ensure that they are meeting goals, improving skill, and contributing effectively. Just like in your study, without regular performance management, companies might only realize the problems too late, leading to poor results and missed opportunities. So when it comes to performance management, Story and Session has stated that performance management involves an interlocking set of policies and practices which have as their focus the enhanced achievement of organizational objectives through a concentration of individual performance. So the figure 1 illustrates the connection between performance management and a company objectives. The performance management aligns a company's mission, key objectives, and strategies with those at the functional, unit, and individuals level. Its primary goal is strategic planning and development, driving improvement in performance across all levels. It tracks the progress made toward achieving a company's objectives by, firstly, evaluating performance at all levels. Secondly, identifying areas for improvement. Thirdly, setting new performance objectives. And finally, implementing systems that convert improved performance into rewards. So the key elements include, firstly, shared vision, a common understanding of the company's strategic goals. Secondly, the performance objective for each function, team, and individual. Thirdly, formal review process for regularly evaluating the progress of function and group and individuals. Linking performance to rewards. So when these elements are in place, the performance management had a strong and positive influence on the companies by fostering cooperation toward the shared goals, encouraging teamwork and open communication, facilitating change, and enhancing individuals as well as group performance. So performance appraisal is a key part of a company performance management system. The focus is on each employee. So it typically involves measuring how well an individual is doing their job against a set of criteria, providing feedback, and then creating a development plan. So as you can see, performance management is a much broader concept than performance appraisal. So performance management is often confused with performance appraisal. Some enterprises label their performance appraisal system as performance management. Even then, they continue to use outdated appraisal method. However, the difference goes beyond terminology. It's a difference in approach and substances. In this class, we will consistently define this term. Firstly, PA or performance appraisal. It means evaluating an employee's current or past performance against set standard. PM or performance management, a continuous process of identifying, measuring, developing individual and team performance in alignment with organizational goals. Continuous feedback and strategically aligning performance criteria are the two distinguishing characteristics of a successful performance management system. So in the first part of this session, we discussed the importance of performance management from an organizational perspective. Now, let's consider it from an individual perspective. Why is it necessary to appraise, to evaluate the individual performance from the benefit of an individual? What do you think, Mr. Elias?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. So, evaluating individual performance is crucial because I think it will help us understand strength and identifying the areas for improvements. And we have to ensure everyone is contributing effectively. It's not just about measuring results, it's about growth and development and keeping people motivated. When we assess performance regularly, I think we can provide the right support and we can set clear expectations and help individuals reach their full potential. In the end, it will lead us for better productivity and strong teams and overall the success.
Thank
I
you so
think
much.
it's
Yeah. Thank you so much for your sharing. I love the insight that you gave, especially when you mentioned that evaluating individual performance is not about the measuring performance only, but also about growth. Yeah, it's a very important keywords that we always want to focus on the performance appraisal. But some line managers they used to get familiar with the evaluating the past performance without considering the future development of their subordinate. And you said that it's very important to keep the employees motivated during the performance appraisal. So tell me, why do you think it's important to keep the individual motivated through this process? Why? What are the reasons?
So I think it's important because those individuals feel seen, supported, and encouraged to grow. So to do that, it's important to focus on constructive feedback, recognizing strength as well as area for improvements, set clear goals, open communications, and opportunities for skill development. I think it will also help people stay engaged with, yeah. And also, evaluations are fair when transparent and grow focus on individual. They will feel like more motivated, confident, and value in their roles.
Yes, it's a very insightful perspective. So I remember that you are an English instructor. So tell me, have you ever joined the performance appraisal review with your line managers? And what were this experience? How was it?
So, from my perspective, it's like I have to engage with students, right, and young learners. So, I have to give insights in my student progress. So like how they're mastering grammars, writing, speaking skills, and comprehensions through my English major. So it is rewarding to see their improvements and know that my teaching skills make difference to individuals because not everyone is same, you know. On the other hand, evaluating can also highlight struggles like my methods or providing extra support to them. So it's like my helping my parts of teachings and their crucial part of learning. It will help both of more engagements and students grow around us.
Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Elias. I really love the way that you share your opinion toward the performance appraisal. Thank you so much for your opinion.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Actually, Mr. Elias mentioned the two important keywords that from the HR practitioner perspective, we always want to encourage the line manager to comply with. Firstly, the development aspect of the performance appraisal. As you may aware, the performance appraisal main purpose is to provide the result of the employee's performance, and it serves as the basis for the decision like the key decision related to pay, promotion, and retention. But sometimes the line managers focus too much on this aspect and neglect the development aspect of the performance appraisal. It is essential to keep the employees engaged and motivated by not showing their mistake in the past, but indicating areas for improvement, how they can improve themselves to achieve the higher result in the future. The appraisal assists the supervisor identify any performance gap between the employee's actual performance and the set standard. It highlights the root cause of this gap and the needed step to address them. So this process will support the employees in correcting deficiency, reinforcing diversity in behaviors and identifying the development need. So appraising individual performance allow both employees and manager to review work progress and reevaluate the career goals. It will help to the employees to create the more effective career development and planning for themselves, and is the crucial aspect to keep the employees engaged and motivated with the performance appraisal. So the figure 2 illustrates the performance process, which involves 3 essential steps. Firstly, setting performance objectives to define clear and measurable standards that arise from a detailed job description and job specification from our previous step, job analysis, right? So this goal must be communicated through a two-way communication process, ensuring that the employees understand, accept, and commit to achieving them. Secondly, measuring performance. It's when the line managers compare the actual performance of the employees with the goal established in the first step. Thirdly, providing performance feedback. So after measuring performance, a review is conducted where performance improvement areas are identified and development needs are discussed. We will delve into each step in the upcoming section. So now we come to the first step of this process, goal setting. So has anyone ever read or watched the story Alice Adventures in Wonderland? So if you have read the story or watched this movie, you probably haven't forgotten a segment where Alice talked to the Cheshire Cat. So let me briefly retell it as follows. So when lost in Wonderland, Alice, frightened, runs and runs until she encounters a cat. Alice asked the cat, "Oh cat, which way should I go now?" The cat replies, "Well, where do you want to go?" Alice hesitates and responds, "I really don't know much about where I want to go." Then the cat retorts, "Then it doesn't matter which way you go. Once you don't know where you are going, any road will do." So indeed, it wasn't just the Cheshire Cat struggling to give direction to Alice, but even the wisest people would shake their head when guiding someone who doesn't clearly know their destination. So the story from Alice in Wonderland perfectly illustrates the importance of the goal setting. So the Alice's uncertainty about her destination highlight that without a clear objective, any direction can seem appropriate, but none will lead to purposeful progress. This conversation reinforces the need for setting specific, well-defined objectives, much like a compass guide one's on a journey. For enterprises, setting this goal at the beginning of the year provide a clear roadmap, ensuring employees remain focused on their objective and can allocate their effort effectively. Without a clearly established goal, employees like Alice would find it difficult to stay on course and achieve meaningful outcomes. So most employees expect to know in advance how they will be evaluated and what their goals are. Ideally, these goals should align with the company's overall objective. However, setting effective goals isn't always easy. A common approach is to use the SMART framework, which ensure that the goals are, firstly, specific, meaning clearly define the desired outcome. Secondly, measurable, identify how progress will be tracked. Thirdly, attainable, ensure that the goals are realistic and achievable. Next, relevant, align objective individual goals with the company's priority. And finally, timely, include deadline and milestones. So employees buy-in in the goal setting is crucial. If the individuals don't accept the goals, whether too easy or too difficult, motivation and performance may suffer. Also, it's important to balance quantity and quality when measuring achievement to avoid focusing solely on numbers. So when it comes to goal setting and metrics, most companies are familiar with the keywords KPI. Like I remember that Mr. Samuel has mentioned before in our previous lesson. So while KPI are useful for measurement, they often stand alone. They indicate if something is good or bad, but don't provide context or guidance on what action to take next. So OKR, objective and key result, fill that gap by offering direction and purpose. I like to think of OKR as KPI with soul. So instead of viewing KPI and OKRs separately, it's better to see them as complementary. Firstly, the objective describes what you want to achieve. Well-designed objectives prevent unclear goals and lead to smoother execution. Secondly, key result will outline how you will measure progress. They should be specific, time-bound, challenging but realistic, measurable, and verifiable. So for your reference, there are some illustrations of how to write an OKR in practice with objectives such as create the lowest carbon footprint in the industry and achieve fiscal sustainability. Related key results are presented accordingly and respectively. So you can refer it at home for your reference. Now, for example, let's look at a museum. The case of the museum. The museum track the attendance and donation monthly is a KPI. Okay. For the OKR, the objective is become more relevant to the community. The first key result, KR, will increase the local visitors by 30% of the next quarter. The second key result is host 2 community events aimed at attracting new local donors. So in this example, the KPI monitor regular metrics like attendance and donation, while OKRs push strategic progress by defining clear action and result aligned with bigger goals. So the figure on the slide highlights key differences between KPIs and OKR, offering a clearer understanding of how both can be utilized effectively. So in general, OKR are used for setting and tracking ambitious, forward-looking goals tied to strategy. The KPIs focus on measuring ongoing performance with a more quantitative, past or present view. So I will give you an example on how OKR and KPI can work together. So if a company set an OKR to increase the website traffic by 20% in the next quarter, they might track KPIs like website visit, page views to measure progress. And for an OKR to improve the customer satisfaction by 10%, relevant KPI could include customer satisfaction score or net promoter score. So this combination allows enterprises to evaluate progress more comprehensively, combining the ambition of OKR with the precision of KPIs. However, it's important to avoid common mistakes. Firstly, don't set too many OKRs, as this can spread the team too thin. Secondly, avoid making them unrealistically difficult, which can demotivate employees. And finally, remember that by avoiding these mentioned mistakes, you can set your OKR that will help you to achieve the most ambitious goal, but with the very realistic steps. So the figures also provide an example from HR, showing how organizational objectives align with the HR objective, how these flow down to key results and individual initiative of each team member. This alignment ensures that every member contributes directly to broader business goals. Now, let's move on to the second step in the performance process, measuring the performance. Okay, so typically the performance evaluation are conducted by the immediate supervisor, but they can also be carried out by anyone who understands the job responsibility and objective, or someone has enough opportunity to observe the employee's performance, or someone who can differentiate or distinguish between effective and ineffective performance. Because of these factors, supervisors, peers, customers, and employees themselves can all contribute to performance evaluation. Growing demand for objectivity and team-based work has led to the increased use of multiple sources of feedback. Now, firstly, the supervisor evaluation. The supervisor evaluation is very common because the supervisors are traditionally responsible for performance appraisal because they are most familiar with the job and employees' performance. This allows them to guide employees' behavior and reinforce their authority. However, supervisor evaluation can be subjective, which we will discuss in depth in our case study later. Secondly, peer evaluation. With the rise of agile structure and team-based work model, peer evaluation are becoming more common. Peer rating provide valuable insights, often produce more accurate predictors of leadership abilities than supervisor. However, these appraisals work best when there is a trust among team members, non-competitive rewards, and frequent interaction. Next one, self-evaluation. Some enterprises use self-evaluation to promote a culture of participation and self-development. However, employees often rate themselves more favorably than their supervisor or peers, and there can be a lack of agreement between self-rating and supervisor rating. particularly when the ratings are related to rewards. So subordinate evaluation or upward appraisal, where subordinate evaluate their managers, are less common but growing in use, especially in enterprises focused on continuous improvement and total quality management. Now, I guess that some of you have joined the performance review, but maybe upward appraisal or subordinate evaluation may be not common and familiar with you. But I still have a question. From your opinion, what are the advantages and disadvantages of the upward appraisal or the subordinate evaluation? What is your opinion, Mr. Chibuzo Emmanuel?
Yeah, hello, good morning, everyone.
Yeah, hello, I can hear you. So please go ahead.
Okay, in terms of subordinate evaluation, in my line of work, most times you don't really most subordinates do not get to give appraisal because it's assumed they are still learning. So most times they look up to their superiors to guide and direct them. So most times you don't really get subordinate feedback in terms of appraisal from subordinates in my line of work. Most of the feedback goes from top to down, not from down to up. Except you don't really get subordinate evaluation, but when it comes to evaluation from the top, maybe I will contribute further in that regards.
Yes, I agree that the subordinate evaluation is not common, especially when for the enterprises which focus on the authority and the hierarchical structure. But just imagine that you are requested to make an upward appraisal for your line manager. Are you willing to do so? Or any requirements you need to have before you accept this invitation?
If the work environment is one that permits such appraisal without victimization, some superiors might not take appraisal in a good light. They might take it as an affront or maybe a question on their capacity and intellect. So if the work environment is such that is well situated to accept such feedbacks, yeah, perhaps the appraiser can come from subordinates and it should be taken in a good light by the superior. These can come in form of the subordinate noticing new patterns or new ways of doing things that can be given as a feedback to the superior who might be out of touch with some of these because in my line of work, some superiors tend to not go to certain areas that their juniors go to. So maybe in some instances where the superior might want to venture into that, he can get a form of feedback from the subordinates who have been frequenting such courts or institutions. Let me use the word.
Yes, thank you so much for your opinion. From your sharing, I catch the keywords. Trust is a requirement or like the must-have factor if we want to encourage the upward appraisal. When the work environment is straightforward and willing to accept the evaluation from the subordinate, the employees are more willing to accept the invitation of evaluation, although that is not easy. Thank you so much, Mr. Chibuzo Emmanuel, for your sharing. How about you, Mr. Samuel? What do you think about this kind of evaluation?
Hello, everyone. Good morning, Ms.
Morning.
Sophie.
Morning.
I think subordinate evaluation is, I can welcome it in my organization or in my company. The reason why I welcome it is because it will give a team morale or employee morale, and it will enhance communication, and it will make the line managers or the managers to own up to their responsibilities. However, upward appraiser is not rampant, is not known to most companies or most organizations. All they do is a downward appraisal, whereby the managers or line managers appraise their employee. Now, one of the key features of this upward appraisal is like anonymous feedback or anonymous message that can actually tell what the manager is up to, his or her personal or daily activities within the workspace. So this will make leadership in the organization to sit up and perform with high morale, owning up to their responsibility, knowing that everyone is watching them. All eyes are on them, both the CEO down to the least employee in the organization. Everybody is being accountable for his or her actions. So this is one of the good things upward appraiser does. You don't know who is watching you. You
Yeah.
don't know who is stepping on your toes, but indirectly there must be a misconception or a misunderstanding that stands to be the disadvantage of upward appraiser, because some persons will be biased.
Bias.
You ask advantage and disadvantage. Now the bias mind stands to be the disadvantage. It will make everyone lose, like have a low self-esteem. Now, when working with your colleague or your team leader or your team line, you will be looking at someone as a gossip. You will be looking at someone as this person is trying to override or trying to perform more than expected. The goal is given. Achieving the goal is the key thing in an organizational setting. So that bias, gossip within the workspace is one of the disadvantage of upward appraisal, thereby writing someone off, not remembering the good, the most innovative idea he or she has brought, but because you have a biased mind, you don't like him, you can write him off, thereby reducing him to what he's not. So that is for the advantage. In summary, upward appraisal to me, as I stated earlier, is good in an organization because it will give a shape to personal communication, or it will improve communication within the workspace. One, it will make line managers and everyone own responsibility. Two, it will support, it will help build a community whereby every goal is achievable through cooperative or line connections, doing things together. That is all I could say about the upward appraisal. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samuel, for a very informative example from your explanation. Yes, I agree that the upward appraisal can be a good way to increase the team morale, the team motivation, as they think that their voice is heard and there's opinion or value when it comes to the manager's evaluation. But every coin has two sides. With the advantages, the upward appraisal has the disadvantages that we cannot deny. That means that the manager may be uncomfortable with the sense that there's someone watching them. They get unfamiliar and uncomfortable with this sense. And maybe in the long term, it can demotivate the managers because they are not comfortable with the work environment. And they are afraid that someone is watching them and making some opinion and evaluation about them. So thank you so much, Mr. Samuel, for your opinion. And Mr. Emmanuel, another Mr. Emmanuel, please share your opinion on this matter. Mr. Emmanuel, oh no. Maybe
Mr. Emmanuel Onwegu.
No. Yeah, sorry, my pronunciation.
Mouth will not kill you. That's the meaning of his name. Mouth will not kill you.
Emmanuel. Maybe my pronunciation is not good. Okay, so maybe I will try to make a nickname for him in the next time. Okay, so before I share my my explanation, I want to listen to final opinion. So, Mr. Francis, what is your opinion on this matter? Have you ever experienced that kind of evaluation? Sorry, Mr. Francis, your mic is mute.
Yeah, sorry. Hi, good morning.
Yeah,
Yes,
good morning.
okay. All right, let me try this. So outward appraisal, this is a bottom-up mechanism.
Yeah.
I think advantage and disadvantage, there are three parts over here for advantage as well as disadvantage, because there's employee, there's employer, and there's organization. So if advantage for, I would say for organization, I think is that, you know, they promote a 360-degree feedback. Okay, that's for the organization. For the employer, for the same as for the boss as well, 360-degree feedback. But for employee, I think this is a good advantage, as in it takes away the psychological fear for the subordinates, because once I take away the fear, I will able to, you know, talk freely, confidently, without having any fear of whether my manager will be affected. But somehow or other, this is very subjective as well, because most of the employee, when they come to this bottom-up mechanism, they will take advantage of it because they will give more of their feelings and not the fact. And then this will definitely annoy the, what do you call that, the supervisor. Yeah, so I've talked about the advantage and disadvantage right now. I think the most important thing is to size a person, meaning to say we can size not only the employee, we also can size the supervisor. And in this aspect, because not only is one way down, there's two way, as in the subordinate can even, you know, explain sometime, you know, like one of our colleague mentioned, one of our student mentioned here, that, you know, it could be biased and it's not a fair evaluation on him. And in that case, there's no check-in, there's no engagement. So I believe that, you know, a manager can say that, okay, this guy is not fulfilling this OKR or KPI, but we do not know what this employee is facing down the road, why he failed to meet the objective. It could be a sacrifice from him that, you know, he's not meeting that KPI. So we need to promote this unfair in him, and make sure that this subordinate mention facts instead of feeling, because that's what the organization want. And from there, you know, then we can have we can also determine whether this subordinate, is it a good cultural fit for the organization. So yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Francis. Now, from your sharing, I noticed the keywords like 360-degree feedback. Yeah, we are human, so the subjectivity is a part of the evaluation. So 360-degree feedback, when we gain the evaluation from various kind of sources from the employees, from the co-workers, from the supervisor can reduce or minimize the effect of biases in the evaluation. And I think that it is very strong point of the 360-degree feedback. And for the upward appraisal, it's not common, to be honest, but it's very important to consider the contribution of this kind of appraisal when it comes to the leadership improvement. So tell me, if you are invited to make an upward appraisal or subordinate evaluation, what are some prerequisites or the requirements you need to have to accept this invitation?
I would say that the most important requirement for me to do this mechanism is that I need to work with these people before. I think that's very important because I need to go with fact. Most important thing is that most employee and employer, they are always emotional when it's come to this evaluation. They are very emotional, and when we are emotional, we will tend to sway away from our objective of the organization. So nobody is greater than the organization. So I need to know the person. I need to have some relationship with the person. I need to work with that person before. Most important thing, we also want this bottom-up mechanism is introduced because we want the person to open up their mouth. And if you stop talking, then it doesn't make any sense anymore. So definitely, I need to know that person. I need to work with that person. I think that's the most important requirement. And then secondly, I need to spend some time with him. I think that's related to number one as well. I think time, relationship, I know this person, then I can say the fact out. And it's not on only emotions. Because when you come to this is set by the organization because the organizations ask for it, and we really need to be very objective about this. Take away the emotion aspect of things, not only a common hatred or jealousy or he actually stepped onto my tail before, that kind of thing. But it's all about fact. I want to improve the organization. That's why I want to go in with that mindset that whatever it is, I'm not going to create enemy. I'm only talking about fact. There's no emotion involved. I just want to improve the company, improve the relationship so the team can move forward and the organization will get a fruitful result after that. So I think that's the most important thing, relationship, that's all. And take away the feeling. There shouldn't be any emotion involved. It's all about fact. If we have emotion involved, then we should hands off and then all of us should go to the pub or disco and then drink it out and then sort it out things. So I think with this organization aspect of thing, there must not be any emotion involved.
Okay, so in addition to what you have just shared, I have another follow-up question. So if you know that your evaluation will be given to your line manager under your name, will you be comfortable to travel to tell the truth and to present what do you really think about your line manager without any fear?
Yes, okay. In my certain stages of life, we did this kind of evaluation before, and most of the organization will say that please do not write your name. Yeah, they will say that. I think yes, for confidentiality, as well as when the line manager saw it, the line manager say, okay, I'll come back to you when you say this some little bad thing about me. But for me, I find that I think I will do that. I will definitely put my name. I'm comfortable because with this set forth, I always set in my mind that I only talk about fact. So when I say that this person is good, I will bring a fact out. Of course, I always bring the good point of my manager first, how he motivate me and how he lead me, and then subsequently I will mention one or two at disadvantages. Of course, based on fact, and then I will give the reason why, and I will give situation why. I think basically this also set a personality and a character in this employee. For example, this employee is fair and square. This employee will be able to lead person next time because he's into 360-degree feedback. Not only top up, but bottom up. Not only top down, but bottom up. So I mean, in terms of organization or in terms of any employer, when you see this person is truthful and he talk about fact. And yeah. So I think I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, I think that you are a very brave man courageous man to speak freely without being fear of any harm in the relationship between you and your line managers. But I think that it's not common for the employee to feel the same way like you. So
All right. So I add
yeah.
on. Sorry, I add on. There must be a relationship between me and that manager. If there's no relationship, then of course I will not be
Yeah.
I mean, most people will not be comfortable.
Yeah, and now I want to shift your view a little bit. So not talking about your own perspective, but imagine that you are an HR practitioner who implement this kind of appraisal for the company scope. That means you apply for all the line managers. You think that keeping the confidential, keeping the information of the employees' information confidential is better to run this program successfully?
I would think it depends on the level of the hierarchy and the person who
Okay.
want to set this. Yeah, the person set this. For example, I'm maybe chief ops, then I want to understand all my project manager. And of course, I want to get the best feedback that I could get for my project manager is those engineers under him. So if I'm the CEO, I will get the feedbacks from the engineer, and I will say that you can mention him because I will filter it off. Yes, so the managers will never know that the engineers are actually giving them feedback. So I think it's always depending on who set forth this assessment. Yes. So because very important, very sensitive, I don't want to create a, a cohesion issue where the engineer can override the manager. Of course, I don't want that. I will make sure that it's confidential. I will go to the engineers to tell me that I want to know the most the projects in overall. So we have project manager A, B, and C and D, and you all have been working with A, B, C, and D, and then I need a full feedback. It's a feedback, two-way feedback, something like that. Not only I must be very careful, not onto that person, but onto the project, because I don't want those person who is below. There's a subordinate, then there's a what do you call that, a leader or a supervisor. Most they will take advantage. Like I mentioned just now, when I first set forth this, emotions is always there because we are human. Yeah, so from here, when I talk about this project and I talk about the person, then they will tend to bring fact. Yeah, it's correct. In the Asian world, right, especially the Chinese, only maybe there's many more. I think I shouldn't say even the Chinese. I should say maybe Asian, everywhere in the world, especially, they will tend to have this authoritative, that kind of mindset. I am given authority over you, and those work under me must listen to me because I'm higher than you in ranking. I know what is going on with the company vision because I stay here long enough. So you listen to me and don't give me any comments and any feedback. Yeah, but if we are talking about digital world transformation, I think yes, then we need to do this 360-degree and top down or up, top down or bottom up. Then I think it should set forth, in future. It should make it like a comfortable play for the organization. I think so.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Francis, for your sharing. Actually, the upward appraisal is not common, but it's growing in use, and it's required the HR practitioner to think very carefully when implement this kind of evaluation in the future, considering the culture of the companies and the relationship between the line managers and the employees. Many factors to ensure that the implementation is successful and achieve the goal of correctly assessing the leadership ability. Thank you so much, Mr. Francis, for your sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the figure on the slide highlights both the advantages and disadvantages of upward appraisal, where subordinates evaluate their managers. So the primary benefit is that the subordinates are well placed to assess a manager leadership skill and day-to-day performance because of their close relationship. So this evaluation provides valuable insight into how managers are perceived, particularly in areas like communication, support, and team motivation. However, this method has its challenge. One significant disadvantage is how negative feedback can affect a manager's attitude, especially if they struggle to process criticism constructively. This indicates the importance of companies considering own potential influences, ensuring that managers are prepared to handle feedback positively before implementing upward appraisal. So when conducting a performance appraisal, managers typically use formal tools or methods to assess their employees. The process revolves around answering two key questions. Firstly, what performance dimension should be measured? This involves evaluating performance based on quality of work, timeliness, or focusing on progress. Secondly, how should this dimension be measured? So several methods are presented on the slide, including graphic rating scale or force distribution. We will begin by exploring graphic rating scale, which is widely used due to their simplicity and adaptability. So, graphic rating scale, or GRS, is one of the most popular methods for evaluating employees' performance. This system provides a structured way for appraiser to assess key performance dimensions, which reflect an employee's effectiveness in their role. So in this method, appraiser use a multi-response scale to rate employees on factors that can be subjective, like initiative or dependability, or objective, like the quantity of work. Commonly, the terms like meets expectation are used at the midpoint of the scale to indicate the satisfactory performance. The ranking method, the oldest and simplest forms of appraisal, involves comparing each employee's performance against others. The managers rank employees from best to worst based on overall performance or specific factors such as job knowledge or punctuality. So again, speaking of the ranking to evaluate the individual performance, tell me, what are the advantages and the drawback of using ranking, in your opinion? What is your opinion, Mr. Sino? Using ranking to evaluate individuals.
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
Advantage. What is the advantage and drawback of using ranking to evaluate your performance?
Sorry, Mr. Sino, maybe the internet connection is bad. I cannot hear you clearly.
I said using advantage and drawback of using
Sorry, Mr. Sino, I think that you should check your mic and your internet connection, and I will go back with you later. Okay? Yeah,
Hello, can you hear me now?
yeah, I can hear you now. But
Yeah,
maybe
I said advantage of using ranking to evaluate individual performance. Like it encourage competition. Like ranking individual performance encourage competition in the essence that it motivates employees to perform better by fostering healthy competition. And also, I can say it simplifies decision making. In the essence that employee may push themselves harder to achieve better rankings. So, and if I say the drawback like ignores collaboration, because most employee may focus on individual success rather than teamwork.
okay. So in your opinion, if the team has more than 30 people, that means there's a large number of people in the team, is this kind of method ranking possible to use in practice? Hello,
I would
Mr.
say this. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
say
yeah.
this method is not advisable if the team is more than 30 people, because it does not encourage because it focuses more on individual success than teamwork.
Yes, I got your point that this kind of this method of evaluation can increase the competition among team members, and if not implemented correctly, it can influence the teamwork and collaboration amongst team members. But my question is that, is it possible to use this method when it comes to a large number of people within a team?
It is possible to use the method in the sense that I think each teams, then we need to make it possible that they need to work on each team needs to work, each individual needs to work together. Because that means we need to set a goal, like common goal for them, so that way they'll be able to work together. Right? It's possible.
Okay, so thank you so much, Mr. Sino, for your sharing. Okay, Mr. Tin, could you please share your opinion? Mr. Tin, can you hear me?
Oh, you mean me?
Yeah, Miss Tin, yeah.
Normally you call me Thin Line, so I think.
Sorry, my pronunciation is not good. Sorry, Miss Thin Line. Okay. So please share your opinion. What you think? Ranking means that we evaluate each individual respectively, and then we make them in order. We arrange them in order in the first place, in the second place, and in the third place. So what are some advantages and disadvantages of using ranking to evaluate individuals?
Yeah, as far as I understand, I think some employee maybe understanding about their weakness and strengths from this method, but this may be advantageous for high performance because they got their they get good results and they can be motivated about this result. But some employee would with a low performance can be demotivated about that stresses. So I think this can create a competitive environment, and sometimes it can encourage to posture and healthy competition. Competition that employee with has low grades. So as for me, I know tech. That's all.
Yeah, have you ever experienced this method of evaluation before?
As for me, about study,
Yeah.
this kid. Yeah. Or actually, for my previous study at the university, I got max ranks among the ranks. At the time, I feel when I get good marks, I feel motivated. When I got low marks, I feel demotivated. So I think this maybe happened between this environments.
Yes. Thank you so much, Miss Thin Light, for your sharing experience. Okay, so actually, ranking is the easiest way to understand and apply. Yeah, Mr. Samuel said that this method cannot be used in the large group. So tell me about your opinion. Why do you think so?
Personally, I think this method cannot be used in a larger group. Reason being that when you have so many employers working for you, it will be difficult for you to assess them based on ranking because there are a lot of them. This method can only work for smaller groups because you can easily assess their performances and rank them in orderly. Do you understand? Just the number in the larger group would be difficult for you as a HR or a CEO of a company to assess. You can never assess a lot of people at the same time, but you can easily assess smaller group within a space of time to get their work performance.
Thank you, Mr. Samuel, for your sharing. Actually, I totally agree that the ranking becomes more challenging when dealing with larger groups or diverse roles. Sometimes ranking can be misleading, subjective, and inaccurate because it depends on the manager perception and it doesn't always reflect individual achievement accurately. So ranking is common to use because it's easy to understand and apply. But with this drawback, with this limitation, it's better for the enterprises to combine the ranking and others kind of method to achieve the optimal result when evaluating individual performance. So you can see that there are some common techniques, method to evaluating performance, like graphic rating scale, ranking, critical incident grading, behavioral anchor rating scale, and behavior observation scale. So in our class, we do not have much time to delve into detail for this method. So you can refer these terms and study at home if you want to know more about this technique, and I will provide you some additional reading for your reference. So the main purpose is not about to understand the technical terms of the HR, but it's more important that as the people manager, how can we utilize this method to evaluate accurately our subordinate performance. And that's the main purpose of our lesson today. And I will spend a majority of time for analyzing case study. And we have a very interesting exercise later on to see if you can identify the mistake that some of the line manager make when evaluating the subordinate and avoid them in the future. Thank you. Okay. Understand. Okay. Okay, the final step is in the process is performance feedback, a crucial part of any effective appraisal program. So this step involves a discussion where the manager and employee collaborative review the employee's responsibility, assess the employee's performance, explore ways to improve the performance, and review the employee's short-term and long-term goal. So the appraisal interview is often seen as the weakness of the process. Instead of enhancing performance, it can create stress and leave employee feeling demotivated and angry, sometimes leading to a decline in their performance. So research identify 3 key factors for an effective appraisal interview. Firstly, managers' understanding of the employee's job and performance. Like when Mr. Francis mentioned earlier in the appraisal, the relationship between the manager and the employees, or the relationship between someone who evaluating and someone being evaluated is very important when it comes to any evaluation. Secondly, the manager's support for the employee. Finally, the manager's involvement of the employee in the discussion. Okay, so before a break, I have a question for you. So as a manager, what should you prepare to conduct a successful performance review discussion? So imagine that the last time you joined the performance review discussion, no matter what the role you play as the manager or an employee. So what should you prepare to conduct a successful performance review? So what is your opinion, Mr. Knight? Mr. Knight, can you hear me?
You asked me?
Yeah, Mr. Knight, okay, so please
Uh,
share your opinion.
and you can call me Skit. You know, I told already about last week.
How can I pronounce your name?
Okay. Thank
Mr.
you.
Yeah, how can I pronounce your name?
My name is Neilin Tad. Yeah, you can call me in Skit.
Kin.
A sketch, you know, SKIT. Yeah.
Skit, Mr. Skit. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So tell me about your opinion.
Like our talk this you asked me as manager, so I like to ask, like, in this what should you prepare to conduct successful performance review discussions? Like quality because like collect data from multiple sources like the self-assessment, prepare the peer feedback and your own observation, like and review key material like sales target, project outcome, or other something. Look for patterns over time, not just real performance. You know, like if you manager, you need to prepare the list what is the target and what is the umbrella goal compare the umbrella performance with the jobs, like everything is need to prepare when you should do in your job area. So like it's and then you need to know about your employee, what they need to in what is their strength and where their weakness lies. Yeah, just really important for was the okay. Sorry about that. I am very dizzy right now.
Yeah, it's okay, Mrs. Skid. But have you ever joined the performance review before? I remember that you are an engineer, right?
No, I'm not engineer. I said I'm the bachelor student, and
You are a student.
yeah, I'm already got bachelor, and I'm here and not got experience and trying to MBA.
Yeah, it's my mistake. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
You are a student. Yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for your sharing, Mr. Skid.
Yeah. So I'm very sorry about that. Just you asked me, and I can answer you because I have a little dizzy in my head, and so sorry about that.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay now. So thank you so much for your sharing.
Yesterday, SBS school has the badminton club, and I'm trying it, and my whole body is like, and my head is dizzy. So sorry
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, okay. Take care. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Miss Olajolo, what is your opinion?
Oh, good morning. Can everybody hear me?
Hello.
Okay. So my opinion would be, as a manager, what should you prepare to conduct a successful performance review discussion? Okay, so first, I think I have to have a clear understanding of what. Oh my God, sorry. I have to have a clear understanding of what the job description is. Oh, sorry. Let me. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So I have to have a clear goal of what I want to discuss. What are the job expectations when we're giving this employer the role? As he or she be able to meet up with their performance? How are they relating with their colleagues? And also, I feel this is how I can conduct a performance review with an employee.
Anything else?
Nah, kind of stuck right now.
Okay. So thank you so much, Miss Olajolo. And before I share the summary, so Mr. Tohib, what is your opinion? Yeah. Mr. Emmanuel, please share your opinion and tell me how can I call your name correctly and to distinguish between you and another Mr. Chibuzo Emmanuel in your class. How can I call your name?
Yeah, Onwebu is fine. Or you can just call me Emma.
Emma, Mr. Emma.
Yeah, Emma is.
Okay. So share your opinion.
All right. Thank you very much. As a manager, for me to prepare for a successful performance review, I would first take a look at my outlined OKRs. If my OKRs meet the specific review that I'm looking out for, I would use it as my metric for performance conduction. Then also I would prepare a kind of staff survey, a survey form that would require other team members to give review concerning who their best performing staff would be. Also, I will look for metrics to conduct behavioral ratings of what I'm looking for. If it's a 5-star, so that kind of rating, I would make it available for the team members to give me that rating review. Also, I may also utilize a voting pool to measure the review. Also, I would use department manager or a line manager. I will use other sub managers to get that performance review, because they know their team members. They know the best know people who are working under them, who would give that very productivity. So, but my OKR and all these surveys, I would also use questionnaires. I'll just make sure that every OKR or every survey I will be giving out meets up with the business outcome, the business goals. So that's the kind of performance that I'm going to use to measure my performance metrics. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me your own experience in the past, up to now. Have you ever joined the performance review discussion with your subordinate? And in your opinion, was it successful, or did it need some improvement to enhance the effectiveness of the performance review?
Yeah, it works. It works actually. Like very recently, my team of product managers, we conducted one review to select our team lead for the month. Yeah, to select our team lead for the month. So we did it based on behavioral performance. In every team, there must be somebody who would always stand out to be a manager that possess those qualities. So what we did was based on that leadership soft skill. So, and by the time the poll was conducted, you find out that a particular person who had that soft skill emerged. So it's not something. So when you use those algorithms or metrics, you find out that it works, because people would when you use anonymous polls, people tend to be unbiased. People tend to use zero sentiment. So for the growth of the company, for the growth of the team, for us to have better results, people give in their best shots. And by the time the result was collated, you find out that it was pointing at one person. So if I know that this person has this the best soft skill, and that person has this, and that person has it. So by the time we all collated the result, the best person emerged. So when the results came out, you find out that the result was positive. It was positive, yeah, without bias. It was positive.
Okay, so thank you so much for your sharing. I think that as a product manager, you gain a lot of experience when conducting a performance review discussion, and there's a lot of factors we need to take into account before, in advance, in order to ensure that the performance review discussion meet the purpose of giving indicating the result, and also the giving the employee the feedback and areas for improvement. So thank you so much for your sharing. Solid preparation is key to a successful performance review discussion. So as a manager, here are some important steps to take before the meeting. So firstly, notify the employees in advance about the upcoming review so they can also be prepared. For example, complete a sales appraisal, review their goals, and consider career development or any question that need to be answered by the line managers. Secondly, set aside sufficient time for the discussion and ensure there are no interruptions. And Ms. Olajolo and also Mr. Emma has mentioned that we need to review the target, we need to review the metric, and all of the tasks that employees have handled according to the job description to confirm the accuracy and the relevance of the metrics. And then refresh on the employee's last appraisal and compare their current performance against mutually agreed goals. That means that we need to be very clear about the metric, about the goal, about the target that we set to our employees. And finally, prepare a list of key points to discuss during the interview. This step is important to ensure that the performance discussion are on track and we have enough time to focus on important points. Additionally, the slide suggests a list of questions for both supervisor and employees to reflect before the review, ensuring the thorough preparation. So there are some research-based guidelines that managers need to consider if they want to conduct effective performance review discussion. Firstly, be constructive, not destructive. It means that frame problems as issue to resolve, not personal criticism. That's the point that when I asked Mr. Francis that whether he's comfortable when making the evaluation about his line manager under his name, and his approach is that the evaluation is based on the fact, the situation, not about the pupil. And that's also the key that the line managers need to keep in mind when giving the evaluation. I mean, frame the problems and issue to resolve, not personal criticism. Avoid attacking the employee's personality as it can create defensiveness and dissatisfaction with the process. And finally, I said, next, encourage the employee participation. The discussion should be mutual, should be two-way conversation. The more employees contribute, the more satisfied they will be with the process. Next, focus on what can be changed. Feedback is most effective when directed at behavior the employee can control. And it's very important that the manager should avoid using positional authority. It's better to hold a discussion in a neutral setting, emphasizing joint problem solving and mutual goal setting rather than judgment. Okay, so I think that we can take a break now for maybe 15 minutes to 10:50. Please come back at 10:50 and we will have the remaining theory for this morning section before we analyze the case study. Okay, so thank you so much for your participation in the first section. So take a break and come back at 10:50. Okay. Mm, 50. Okay, class, we continue. So before the break, we mentioned we have learned some guideline that the manager should aware before conducting the performance review. One of them is encouraging the employee participation, because when the discussion is mutual, the employee can contribute more and they will be more satisfied when they are in the review. But the most common problem is that sometimes the employees are very quiet, and sometimes they are reluctant to ask questions or express an opinion in a review. So my question is that, as a manager, how would the managers do to encourage the openness of the employees? How can we encourage them to talk more and to express their idea, their opinion? Okay, Mr. Tom, what is your opinion? Mr. Tom, can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, so come back with you later. Okay, so Mr. Elias, what is your opinion?
So I think
So
managers can,
yes, just please imagine that in the class there are some students who are very quiet and they are not willing to share their ideas in the class. So in that case, as a teacher, how can you encourage them to speak and to talk to others friends in the class and to share their opinion? How can you?
Okay, so as an English instructor, encouraging students to ask questions and express their opinion is key to effective learning. And creating a comfortable and judgment-free classroom environment that help students feel confident in speaking up. By using open-ended questions like active listening and positive reinforcements can make students more willing to share. And some learners may feel shy, so offering anonymous questions and submissions or like small group discussions can help them open up. And once students see that their input is valued and contributes to their learning, they become more engaged and confident in expressing themselves. That's what I think about it.
I really love the way you share that you will create a non-judgmental environment where the student feel comfortable and not afraid of speaking and sharing their ideas. It's a very important point. And I think that it is important that the teacher can encourage the student to feel confident in their ability to share and to speak up their opinion. So now
and also like when students feel respected, encouraged, or supported, they are more likely to engage and ask questions and develop stronger language skills from them. I think so encouraging a growing mindset where effort is praised as much as correctness, and it helps students see feedback as a tool for improvement rather than criticism.
It's easy to speak something positively about your student, but when it comes to their mistake, how can you communicate the improvement to them, and they are more willing to accept your instruction? In what way?
So when addressing mistakes as an instructor, I think the key is to correct students in a way that encourages learning rather than discouraging confidence. So like we can use positive reinforcements, encouraging self-corrections, like recast back the mistake naturally. And also like for fun and everybody's class, like use humor and support. Yeah, like it will help mistakes of one learning, and like so a light-hearted approach, it will help students that even native speakers make mistakes, and that error is a step toward improvement.
Yeah, wow. It's very valuable idea when it comes to making suggesting the improvement for students. I really love the way that you express your experience as well as the example of how you suggest the improvement for your student in the class. Thank you so much, Mr. Elias.
Thank you, Miss.
Actually, the technique that Mr. Elias suggests can be used in a corporate setting as a manager. There are some keywords from Mr. Elias that I can pick. Firstly, creating a not judgmental environment where the employees or the student feel confident and not afraid of making mistakes. Secondly, using the open-ended question. Thirdly, ensuring that the employee or the student feel supported by the line managers, and they are more willing to share their problems and ask for help. When it comes to indicating the mistake, the way that we communicate is essential to ensure that the employees can accept this suggestion positively, and they understand that it's a way for them to improve, and it's not a kind of personal attack. Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Elias, for your valuable contribution. Okay, so Mr. Tom, anything to share before we come to the next point?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, according to this question, it's come to my mind. It's just a little bit, not too much. The first thing is be a good listener before to encourage to the opener. So you have to be a good listener, pay close attention to what the student have like what you say, and also like respond thoughtfully as you do usual. Yeah, and on the other one is like provide opportunity for a feedback, and also create a opportunity for a student to talk and to discuss, and yeah, and also like the final one is share a personal story, and on this other is I think it's the good way to encourage the student.
Yeah, one good point that you have mentioned is that showing you are a good listener to the employees or to the student.
Student,
Tell me some behaviors that indicate a person who is a good listener. Can you indicate some behaviors?
For good listener, you have to like always have to listen carefully and pay attention.
Yeah.
For
Listen
what the students say. Yeah, just like that.
Yeah. And how can you ensure that you understand the others accurately?
Yeah, the first thing, like the more you pay attention for what they are saying, so you can respond like carefully, so they understand that.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Tom. Yeah, there are some keywords from Mr. Tom that I pick up. Firstly, being a good listener by paying a attention to what the employees share during the review. Listen carefully, and by using the follow-up question, you can ensure that you understand their opinion and sharing correctly. And the performance review should be the two-way discussion. It means not only the manager who talk from the beginning to the end, but the employee should be offered an opportunity to share their opinion, to respond to the suggestion from the line manager, and to ask the follow-up question. Yeah, okay, good point. Okay, and Mr. Samuel, I see that you mentioned trust, build trust. Okay, so in what way building trust can encourage the employee to share their opinion? Mr. Samuel, your mic is mute.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
When I said building trust, it's just a kind of to foster positive relationship, thereby creating an atmosphere where your employee can relate to you directly. You are approachable, you are confident, like you are confidential. Whatever your employee share to you is protected, like letting them know that their feedback will not have a negative effect on them. Again, you ask them an open-end questions like what challenges are you facing recently? What can I do to help you or the team to help you, so that you can know exactly where the problems are coming from, where they need help, you attend to it. You need to be empathic. You need to have that human relation, like that human feelings to help them, because every employee has one or two going through in his or her life. It could be a personal life issues, or it could be a family issue, it could be anything. So you really need to know their position in their job. For them to work effectively, they need to be emotionally, mentally, and physically fit. So you really need to understand what is their current condition for them to operate well. Secondly, you need to be, when you mean empathic, you need to always encourage them. You need to feel for them wherever they are not feeling all right. You need to touch one or two places in their life or in their work objectives for them to flow well. Because and another thing is, they need to communicate to you. When you build that trust, they will easily communicate to you. When you use the right tone, on them, they will understand. Like, let's say for instance, when we started this class, you said something. You said no answer is right or wrong. Everyone's opinion is welcome. When you use that right tone, it makes us feel at home. We are confident that this class is going to go well. We will be impacted, we will contribute, we will do this, we will do that. Everybody will feel all right. So the right tone has a play in whatever thing you do in an organization. When Mr. Tom said being a good listener, yes, it is true. When you be a good listener, you are avoiding interruption and dismissing ideas that are not relevant, welcoming the right ones so that you will work effectively. So above all, when you build trust, one can entrust something in your space, and he or she would know, if this thing is here, it's not gonna leak. If this is here, nobody's gonna take it off. So That trust, building that trust alone shows that you are a good manager and you can lead them outrightly. Also, a kind of what will I say, psychological safety when you make them understand that mistakes are bound to happen in anything you do. Like when you do mistake, you are learning. Is a step ahead. Because if you don't do mistake, you can't learn. So them having that understanding that normalizing mistake as a tool to learn, they will say, okay, I made this mistake. That doesn't mean I will not get it right next time. So they will learn from their mistake and things will go well. And they need to share their experiences to you. And this is only when you build that trust. Someone that loves you, that is okay to be with you, will share his or her experiences, and that will give you a helping hand as a line manager or as a manager to know what is wrong with this person or how far this person has gone in life, this or that. So building trust is the key thing for me as a manager, for your employee to be open to you, for them to react to reviews, say their mind. They need to confide in you. They need to be confident in you enough to share their life stories or their experiences. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Samuel. I find your point about the psychological safety particularly interesting. It's really good point here. Actually, yes, I agree with you that the mistakes are inevitable, and the important is that the employees understand what they can learn from the mistake, and they are confident in their ability without any fear of judgment from the line manager. You mentioned that being empathetic and having the human sense can be a good starting point to build trust between the managers and the employees. And we see eye on this. Yeah, building trust is not easy, and it requires time and effort both from the line managers and also the employees. But provided that a manager can create an atmosphere that the employees feel related, feel protected, and understand they are safe from the judgment from the line manager. They are more willing to share your opinion, their opinion and their ideas. Yeah, really good point. And I think that Mr. Samuel, I think that I can learn a lot from your sharing. As a manager in my current work, current job, and also a teacher in the class, I always try my best to encourage the student to share the ideas, because I think that the teacher is not someone who can know it all. From my side, I learned a lot from you, as we are from different walks of life and we have the diverse experience, especially when you deal with people. And I really appreciate all of your opinion, class, and I encourage you to share your experience, share your ideas in the upcoming session. So all of the classmates, including me, will be beneficial from your sharing also. Thank you so much. Okay, so I remember that Mr. Elias had mentioned the keyword humor, being humorous when giving the negative feedback. It is a very good way to share the negative feedback to employees, soften the influences, and let them more accepted to the suggestion, to the advice. And in theory, from the research, there is another method in addition to using humor or being humorous when giving the negative feedback. There is a method called the Burger feedback method. It is an effective approach for providing the constructive feedback, particularly particularly when dealing with sensitive subordinate. This method assists the manager to prevent the defensiveness from the employees by structuring the feedback in a way that encourages the openness and positivity. So this method involves 3 key steps. Firstly, start with a positive remark, including the specific compliment or comment. This step will help the recipient feel appreciated and valued, setting a positive tone. It will create an atmosphere in which the person is more open to receiving the constructive criticism. The second step, deliver constructive criticism. So after the initial positive remark, the manager can provide the constructive feedback, focusing on action or behaviors that need improvement rather than making personal criticism, ensuring that the feedback is clear, concise, and actionable. It is suggested that the manager can follow a structured approach as below. Firstly, identify the issue to be worked on. Secondly, explain why it needs to be addressed. Thirdly, suggest ways to improve. And finally, express what the desired behavior looks like. The final step is ending with a positive remark or another sincere compliment. This step reassures that the person understands their strengths, their contribution are appreciated, ending the feedback exchange on a positive note. This final remark will contribute to maintain a strong, constructive relationship and leaves the recipient with a sense of encouragement. So the Burger feedback method has certain advantages, such as shortening the influences of criticism, maintaining positive relationships, and promoting open communication. However, critics have pointed out several disadvantages, and my question is that, in what situation should the Burger feedback method be avoided? What is your opinion, Mr. Chibuzo Emmanuel? In what situation should the Burger feedback method be avoided? Mr. Chibuzo Emmanuel?
Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now. Okay. Sorry, but your mic is mute. Okay.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Okay.
Yeah, I think in situations where specific performance was required, I think the evaluation has to come in form of measuring the listed goals, trying to see if the employee was able to meet some specific targets. I think it doesn't have to the praising and trying to build atmosphere of conviviality doesn't come into play there. I think the evaluation has to be in terms of trying to gauge if specific tasks and prospects we are reached. Yeah, so that's it for now.
Yeah. Take care, Mr. Thibault Emmanuel. I guess that your hair is not good in good condition. So take care.
Yeah, my head is not in good condition. I had I was under the weather yesterday, so I'm not really 100%.
Yeah, okay. So take care. Okay. Thank you so much for your effort. Okay, so Miss Thin Lai, what is your opinion on this question?
Yeah. I cannot mention exactly, but I think maybe less experienced employee, they don't need the backup feedback method because they have to learn every steps, and so the line managers or the senior managers should teach them what is wrong or what is right, and also sometimes less experienced employee should be got negative comments, because if we do so, we can learn I think weakness, and also what is we find for X. I think that's maybe on my opinion.
Okay, so thank you so much, Miss Thin Lai. Actually, from your sharing, I pick up the words that when the line manager can speak clearly about what is right and what's wrong about the employee's performance to require the immediate action, the burger feedback method may be not suitable. Yes, it's correct. So the burger feedback method had some disadvantages, especially when the direct or detailed feedback is required. Specifically, the constructive feedback can get lost or minimized between the positive comments, leading recipients to overlook the seriousness of the issues raised. So, in summary, the burger feedback method may be not suitable in, firstly, fast-paced environment where straightforward and direct feedback is more appropriate, or in situations where a comprehensive, in-depth, personalized, and nuanced assessment is required, or when dealing with the serious issue that require immediate attention. Using this method in such cases might be counterproductive and time-consuming. So the SBI, the situation, behavior, and impact, can be considered as an effective alternative to the burger method, especially in situations that require clear, direct, and actionable feedback. By focusing on three key elements like situation, behavior, and impact, this framework makes it easier to quickly understand the issue and its consequences. Here's the breakdown of the structure. Firstly, the situation. Define the where and when of the situation you are referring to. This puts the feedback into the context and give the employee a specific setting as a reference. Secondly, behavior. describe the specific behaviors observed directly, not make assumption or judgment about those behavior. Thirdly, impact. Describe how the the employee's action can affect or influence others' behavior within a team or within a department. You can see two examples on the slide, one for negative feedback and the other for the positive one. By following the SPI structure, the recipient clearly understands what the feedback is about and why it matters. So this method is effective because it focuses on specific situations and behaviors, then highlight their influences on others. A key benefit of this model is its emphasis on the impact or influence step, which allows the individual to reflect on how their behavior influence others and consider what they can improve next time. So after the feedback and discussion phase, it is crucial to complete a well-organized document for administrative and legal purposes. The performance appraisal record serves this role, documenting employee rating and comments. A well-designed appraisal form is vital as it forms the basis for decision on discipline, promotion, transfer, and termination. So an example of a performance appraisal record is presented on the slide, and you can refer it later. So the research showed that when employees see the appraisal system as consistent and fair, it enhances motivation, job satisfaction, reduces turnover intention, and improves job performance. However, challenges often arise from both the system design and the implementation, which can undermine the effectiveness of the performance management in general. We will explore this problem in the next section. So, reflecting on your most recent experience participating in performance appraisal activities, whether as an appraisee or an evaluator, what stand out the most in your memory? And are there any aspect of the process that you dislike and would like to change? What did you feel so at that time and why? What is your opinion? What is your experience, Ms. Kim? Hello, Ms. Kim.
Hello.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, okay. So
Hello.
please share with me. Yeah, please share your
Can you hear
experience.
me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What stand out the most for me? Memorable aspects of like performance appraisal process. Maybe sometimes often it include like constructive feedback and sometimes also like goal setting and also recognition of achievement. However, like areas that may need improvement include unclear evaluation criteria and lack of regular feedback and sometimes one-side approach where employee input is limited, I think. For me, like some memorable aspect for example, like constructive feedback that helps employees can grow, and also clear career development discussions like that. Yes.
Yeah, you are working as an visa officer right now, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. So how many lines manager do you have?
How many lines?
Line manager, the direct manager that you have.
Over 3.
Over 3. Wow. Yeah. So what is the frequency of the performance review that you join with this manager? Once a year or twice a year? Once a year. Yeah.
Actually, once a year.
Actually, once a year. So how long does it take?
For me,
the performance review discussion where you discuss with your line manager about your performance result throughout the year and discuss about the areas of improvement. So how long does this review discussion usually take? An hour or
usually take
sorry?
just half an hour. Just an hour.
Half or just an hour?
I mean, just just 30 minutes.
30 minutes. So do you think that 30 minutes is enough for you to achieve the goal of the performance review discussion?
Performance surgery. Maybe before we make discussion, as an employee and also as a manager, we need to prepare for before we meeting. As an employer, we need to prepare what should I negotiate with line manager and what I want. And also from line manager, he also discussed about the what we need in currently at our role, and also what we need to improve the organization to more improve before we make a meeting. We need to make that first.
You should you need to make a preparation first before you join the performance review, right? Yeah. So from your sharing, from your sharing, I noticed that during the meeting, the line manager will mention about what you have achieved in the year and indicate the areas of improvement for your growth. So tell me, just recall that experience. What were your emotion or feeling when you received this advice and evaluation from your line managers?
For preparing, we review our achievement, like gather data on visa application process or approval way, or sometimes also customer feedback, and also any challenges, every challenges overcomes. And also, and also my emotional feelings, like sometimes I'm proud and motivated when many students' visa approval rate is high. And also sometimes sometimes I feel also slightly nervous or disappointed if the feedback was unexpected, and also but willing to work on it, like that.
Yeah, sometimes feel motivated, but sometimes feel disappointed and demotivated.
Yes. Yes. Sometimes visa is like, although we try so much, can get sometimes bad result, or it's also head is on our effort and half is on their leg also.
Okay, so from your experience, have you ever faced the evaluation from your line manager and you notice that it's not true about yourself and you make an explanation on that? Have you ever faced the phones?
Can you please?
Yeah. Have you ever faced the phones evaluation from your line managers? That means that he or she speaks something about yourself is not correct.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. And
Sometimes I have faced like a forced evaluation from my line manager. It's something it can be frustrating, especially when my efforts and performance don't match their perceptions. At the time, I just stay in professional in my line, and like sometimes I avoid avoid reacting emotionally even if the feedback feels unfair. And also like but but I try best in my roles every day, as much as not have mistakes.
yeah, I understand your emotion, your feeling. You try your best, but the performance, the result is not always as you expect. But when you face the incorrect evaluation from your line manager, how can you protect yourself? How
Yeah.
can you prove that you have tried your best? You are in the right position, but the outcome is not expected. How can you protect yourself from the false evaluation from the line manager?
Actually, I keep a record of my work.
Yeah.
And also I do a daily text, and also sometimes I have noted with my own exercise that what I did, and also as much as I keep note what I did daily, and also
yeah.
sometimes I explain, sometimes influenced by policy and also empathy, and also sometimes applicant errors it can be. But mostly in my experience, it's just based on the empathy and policy and empathy decision. But from follow-up and from my daily tasks, I try best to take notes what I did, and also sometimes mostly I keep my note and also some all of my approve that I did.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Kim, for your great strategy. And I think that your experience is valuable, and we can learn from Miss Kim's experience. Yeah. When we receive the evaluation from the line manager, it is very important that we keep the data, we keep the record of our previous work, our previous achievement. We need to have some note and follow-up to ensure that we achieve the targeted goal set by the line manager. Sometimes the line manager cannot remember all of the achievement of their employees. And that's the reason why each employee should protect themselves by keeping their own record of the achievement. So if you have the information, if you have data, so your explanation is more persuasive to the line manager. So thank you so much, Ms. Kim, for your sharing experience.
Yes, Chair, thank you.
Okay, so Armstrong, in his Human Resource Management Handbook, identifies 7 common challenges in performance management as highlighted below. Firstly, lack of commitment and support from the management. Usually, top management like the CEO or the senior management team plays a crucial role in fostering a high-performance culture. Without visible support and commitment from leaders, effective performance management becomes difficult. The HR managers must work to gain management backing by educating both leaders and employees on the importance of performance management for employee development, performance improvement, and achieving business goals. The second problem is the misalignment between the individual's objective to the organization goals. So many enterprises either lack a systematic performance appraisal method or fail to align individual objective with the company's strategic goals. This lack of alignment reduces the value of the appraisal system, making it less relevant to the organization structure, culture, and success. The third issue is a poor link between appraisal result and development purpose. As you have introduced before, the performance appraisal are intended to support the administrative, developmental, and research purposes. But the enterprises usually focus too heavily on the administrative side, such as determine pay increase based on the performance result. So this emphasis can weaken the link between the appraisal result and the employee's development, hindering effort to enhance the performance and career growth. The developmental aspect, which should help employee improve and advance in their career ladder, is often underutilized. The fourth issue, an emphasis on subjective performance criteria. Many traditional performance appraisal systems tend to emphasize subjective criteria such as personality, loyalty, initiative, rather than objective factors like unit produced, sales figures, or punctuality. So in many cases, these systems are based more on the opinion than measurable information, making them prone to bias and inconsistency. So the table on the screen illustrates some subjective and objective-based criteria. The appraisal system that rely on unclear and subjective criteria are more susceptible to discrimination and can foster a culture where employees feel compelled to please their line manager rather than improve. To avoid this, it's beneficial to use a mix of both objective and subjective criteria. For instance, Singapore Airlines combine both approaches by evaluating employees on quality and quantity of work, such as dependability and teamwork. Another factors like job attitude and behavior, as well as management skill like supervision and communication. And I think that we have go through the first four problems that the performance management challenges that usually the enterprises usually face. So I think that it is enough for our morning session. In the afternoon session, we will take a closer look at the remaining three problems of the performance management. We also have some case study, especially when it comes to the retail errors appraisal problems. A real case that I need you to spend a lot of time analyzing this and to avoid this situation happening the same in your real life experience. Okay, so I think that we can have a lunch break now, and we will come back at 2 p.m. for the remaining section. The remaining section will focus on the three remaining problems, or the case study and the exercise to indicate your ability to point out the common problems of the performance management. Okay, so thank you so much for your enthusiastic participation in the morning section, and see you in this afternoon. Okay, so have a good lunch break, and for those who are not in good health situation, take care.
Thank you.
Yeah, see you. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
only